What's up, guys? Welcome to Bullet's Garage. We're here on a chilly day, and as you could tell, I'm in my work outfit. That means we're gonna get some shit done today. In the garage, I got my brother who's recording right now. Give him a shout out, Bully Kid on YouTube. We got my mom's Hyundai Accent 2009 that we're gonna be doing the front and rear brakes on, and we're gonna do a quick do-it-yourself for you guys. So you can see, if you have a similar car, you have an idea how to do a simple brake job. Nothing to it, no special tools needed like on my GTI. It's all straightforward. I'll show you what tools you need, how to get it done, so you can get some fresh brakes and stop like a champ.
Nice and fresh. Vented. Solid. You want more surface area on your brakes. Don't buy these brakes, which I got for my Civic. Check it out. We're gonna be installing these in the future. So we went with this brand, eBay front brake kit. Everything brand new, as you can see. We got these for Black Friday, about $43 shipped. Now you can't beat that. That's the front. And we're gonna do the rears also. Different company. So we got the two rear drums, brand new, with the brake pad discs inside. Why do they still put drum brakes on a 09? I don't get it. And last but not least, we're gonna bleed the brakes as well with some good synthetic brake fluid. You should be doing this every 2 years to maintain that optimal braking performance. Now make sure you read what it says when you're choosing your .3 or 4 fluid. This vehicle can take .3 or .4. .3 was on sale, so we went with .3. What's going on here? All right, back at it. Fill us in. What's the progress?
All right, guys, we're gonna get started here. First thing we gotta do is take off the brake caliper. We need a 14mm bolt that goes right there. There's two bolts that hold it down. Let me get my tool in here. Make sure it's on lefty loosey.
Where's your
Here it is. That's one bolt. Put that in a safe place so you don't lose that. This one's a little more stubborn, so we're gonna use some elbow grease.
So there's two bolts that hold the caliper. The caliper seems like a two-piece. If you're just replacing brake pads, all you would have to do is take those two bolts out. Take that half caliper out of the way, and you can just replace your brake pads. In this case, we're replacing the brake pads and the rotors. As you can see, as Rafael, or as Bullet will show you,
They still got some life, but they're pretty worn out, and there's grooves in
you
them.
can see the grooves in them, which would indicate that the rotor has some scarring on it, especially on the back here. The braking performance is pretty weak. Likewise, the pedal does go down a lot, indicating that there's a lot of brake wear. These were the original brakes for this vehicle. It's a 2009, so it's been on the vehicle for about 8 years now. 40,000 miles in 8 years, so it's time.
Alright guys, the next little issue is there's two bolts that are holding the rotor into the hub, and I tried to unscrew it with a Phillips screwdriver and one's already starting to strip. So I'm gonna add some heat so we can loosen that bolt out a little bit so we don't strip it and have to drill it out, because that's never fun.
I always drill them out because I can never get them out.
Because he doesn't have the patience to do this step.
And this is perfect today because it's very cold, so that cold weather and that warm heat is gonna do something with physics here.
Yes, physics in action, guys.
So while he's doing the top one, I'm gonna help him out and get the bottom one.
Not very effective.
"20 minutes later, you're still trying to do. Now, if you can't deal with two screws that you can't take out, just take it to a shop. It's 20 degrees out here. Just take it to a shop. Whoa, he did it.
All it takes is a little impact. Alright guys, there's two bolts that hold the mounting bracket to the knuckle, which we need to remove so we can get access to the rotor. And this is not powerful enough.
What kind of shit is that, man?
It's the small
Milwaukee.
It's the small duty.
Told you to get DeWalt. It was on sale for Black Friday. The hammer and thing. That's what you need, man.
Jesus.
You know why you can't get it open, right? Because I tighten it. I'm gonna go for the bottom.
When you can't get it, guys, you get your secret weapon.
He's going to get his girlfriend. Oh no.
She's a little long. I think we need to trim her a bit.
For real? Let me just go do it.
Hold it. Alright boys, now that we got our special tool,
Just like that.
just like that.
Alright, now try to get the top one.
Just like that, we're in business.
So those were two 17 mil bolts?
Two 17 millimeter bolts,
What were the other bolts? 14?
14 millimeter bolts. That have a washer behind them. Don't lose the washer.
There's a washer. Show us the washer. I see the washer. Alright, there we go. Let's get the second one. Alright, so
There's
now
our mounting bracket.
the mounting bracket is gone.
Now the fun part is, most of the time these rotors are seized on. So if it doesn't come off with a few kicks, you gotta go to the hammer. Hold that.
Oh, you want to kick it first then?
Yeah. Well, it looks like you gotta bust out the heavy artillery to get this sucker loose a little bit. Now, my brother's gonna be cleaning up all the rust that's gonna be falling on the ground, not me, because Bullet's garage is always clean. Oh, that was easy. That was very easy. So, I've done a brake job on a GTI, and I had to pound it for days.
Let's see the inside, because the inside was the one with the grooves in it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of grooves on there.
Let's see if I can get a good angle. Yeah, you can see the grooves in here, and it definitely feels rough when you're sliding your finger through there. And the most important thing is, you see the edge on this. The edge is sticking out big time, meaning this was worn out. The brakes wore out a lot of the material that was there. The edges, the inner side and the outer side are raised. So this has seen better days. Like I said, about 8 years old, original Hyundai part. So it did its job fairly well. We're gonna clean this off a little bit, put some anti-seize on the back of the new rotor so it doesn't stick onto the hub. For comparison, guys,
always make sure
and this is gonna be
the same size, guys.
This should be the thumbnail here, but Bullet's Garage doesn't make custom thumbnails. So.
Hell no.
There you go. Hey, let's get a side view. Can you show them the side view of them? Oh, like side to side. Yeah. There you go. Wow, what a difference. You could barely get any ventilation through here to cool the brakes with all that rust. All right, so let's get the old ones out of the way now.
Little brake cleaner. Wipe that off. And then I always like to put a little bit of anti-seize around where the rotor and the hub meets. Just so when you're doing this job in the future, you don't have to pound as hard as I did. Doesn't need much.
Doesn't need much, but we'll paint the whole thing.
All right.
Oh wow, let's get those boys in.
So, rotors are always stored in like a plastic cover with oil on it. The oil is there so the rotor doesn't rust while it's in storage, so it's always smart to clean it off with some brake cleaner before you install it. So that way when you're braking, you don't have any oil on the surface of the rotor.
Always take this off. You see the oils that are originally on the rotor. And we'll go into the braking procedure for brakes once we get everything installed. But this is a critical step to remove all the factory oils that are put on for preservatives. Oh yeah, well that's good, it fits. That's one good step. Also very important, guys, a lot of times these things start sticking. Let me see if I can get a good angle. These little brackets, there's a lot of rust and corrosion and dirt and debris that gets on them. You want to sand them down lightly. We have a little sanding brush that we're gonna run it through these, so then your calipers and your brake pads go in and out smoothly and they don't stick and they don't cause premature wearing, okay?
Good?
Yeah, it looks good to me. Yep, nice and clean. All the dirt and grime is off. Once you got the mounting brackets all clean and sanded down, always make sure you clean the guide pins and re-lubricate them. As you can see, these look really old. There's not a lot of grease on there. It's nice and dark. So clean them off. Make sure the guide pins don't have any scoring on them. They're nice and smooth. Because if they have scoring on them, that means they might be getting stuck. So we got some Mobil 1 synthetic grease. We're gonna lube them up and put it back in. swivel it around in there. Make sure it's lubed up really well, and repeat for the next one.
Stroke it real good, guys.
Yeah, make sure it's accomplished. All right, and you'll hear these snap back in when you put them back.
Ceramics.
Ceramics are the most common kind of brakes now. You got semi-metallics and metallics, but ceramics, oh, that's nice. You got the logos here. That's cool. Show them the old ones. We got the old ones. One of the old ones. Look at the difference here. That's what about 30,000 miles it looks like of wear.
Yeah, the pads were just on the way out. You see that little groove right there? Once you're past that, that's basically when the pads need to be replaced.
Okay, so at this point, all you have to do is put everything back to how it was before. So,
we'll start with the mounting bracket, lubing this up. Ready?
Yeah. I'm just recording.
So this is where the shim is going to be sitting, so I like to...
It's not even shim, that's hardware.
Well, the hardware is sitting. I like to get it a little lubed up.
It's not lube, that's anti-seize. What the fuck? How many beers did you drink, man?
All right. Let's mount this onto the knuckle assembly. You take your two
17
millimeter bolts. You align it in the back. Get them snug by hand. Always start your bolts by hand so you don't risk cross-threading. And then you tighten those suckers up.
Hand tighten it, guys. Hand tight. It's good enough. This is not a race car, this is a daily driver.
Alright, then we will put in our brake pads.
This is it. This is the first insertion.
What you always need to do is also lube up this where the brake pad is going to be sliding on the mounting bracket. And then I like to put a little bit on one side where the piston is going to be hitting it.
Just a little bit, guys. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
There you go. Make sure the top and the bottom are aligned. Wiggle it in. Pop out back a little bit. Okay. And when you get everything in, it's all gonna sit nice and flush with the brake here.
You got a little access, you just wipe it off.
I mean, we can anti-seize the whole car after because it's winter time anyway. All right, and once that's done, one last thing, we're gonna flip the piston around. If there's any rust on the piston, we're gonna clean that off, and we're gonna put some anti-seize on that piston ring as well, so it doesn't stick to the brake pad. And now there's not enough distance to put this caliper in with the new brake pads. So what we're gonna do first, to give the system some room to breathe, we're gonna open up the reservoir, because when we squeeze that brake caliper, extra fluid is gonna come out this way. There's tools for this, guys, but we don't have a tool. So we're gonna put this here and then just squeeze this whole thing down. Squeeze the pipe down. Just make sure the brake line's like not getting squished. There you go. Now it's moving. Anyway, I'm gonna take
All else fails, try your fingers.
Oh yeah, he did it with his fingers. We'll edit this and make it look like he did it. Just like that, guys. Slides right in.
Alright guys, then you get your 2
14mm
bolts.
Getting old here.
Get those 2 bolts in that go on the back of the mounting bracket.
Seem out of breath. You okay there?
You know, it's chilly out here.
How much degrees is it now? 2? Minus 10 with wind chill now.
It seems it's getting colder as we go. And also hand tight, don't need to over tighten these.
Alright, once you tighten up these bolts, which we just did, you're all finished. That's the brake job. It's complete. Mechanic's gonna charge you about $100 for that time we spent. 2006 to 2011, I believe. Hyundai Accent front